Hi, this is Dave Dirks, co-author of the book, The New Marketing Analytics. I want to spend a little bit of time in a new series on the impact of artificial intelligence, AI, and data analytics. Primarily because there isn't a day that you can go by without reading or hearing about some impact or some application of artificial intelligence being applied either in business or into our own lives. I mean, just look at the number of tools between Alexa or Siri or Google's platform for voice recognition. And they're, although it's in the very early stages of what anybody would call AI, they're algorithms that do voice recognition and are able to take commands. And they're able to some limited degree also to be able to learn about the user and how that user inputs into their voice recognition programs. But beyond that, though, the interesting thing for me on the outset of all this discussion about the AI and its impact, good, bad, or indifferent, on how we do and conduct business now and into the future, AI to me is kind of reminds me a lot about the role that spreadsheets had in a few decades ago, when spreadsheets, which really allowed businesses before computing power became far more expansive and cheaper, allowed businesses to crunch a large amounts of data, clean the data up, sort the data, and start to be able to learn insights and gain insights to what that data was telling them, whatever data it was, HR data, marketing data, sales data, finance data. And to a large extent, Excel, in my mind at least, was sort of the leading edge of predictive software, even though it was wholly dependent upon someone on the other end of the keyboard making inputs, changing macros, creating formulas, and such. But spreadsheets really were and still are even today the leading edge of the old way of calculating and making predictions, because you could take data, run it through, manipulate it, change certain inputs. And every time you changed an input in a spreadsheet, you could determine a different output. And you could look at that output and say, hey, if I change the price here and I change the costs here and I change a few other inputs along the way in my, Excel, for example, algorithm, as I'll call it, because you create sort of an algorithm in a spreadsheet that then drives the spreadsheet to make some calculations on your behalf instantly, right? So AI is sort of like, the computing power built around artificial intelligence today is now, less dependent on human capability and inputs. It's more dependent on just the amount of data that runs through it. So, spreadsheets were the leading edge. Now there's, more formal and more scientific work being done around AI. And of course, I think it's in its infancy. I don't think anybody would argue that AI has grown up or AI is there for us. I mean, if you've been frustrated using any one of the voice recognition programs, you understand clearly the limitations of artificial intelligence right from the get-go. But what are AI platforms? AI platforms, basically, in their simplest format, are really algorithms. They're complex math algorithms built around to do a certain function or to do a number of functions, to take data and then turn those into certain outputs or predictions. But they're only as good, keep in mind, they're only as good, AI algorithms are only as good as the people who design them. People that write those algorithms might have certain biases. There might be certain biases just built into those algorithms. So you'd have to ask yourself, anytime someone comes up to you and says, oh, man, I've really got this great platform, software platform, and it's AI-based. You have to ask yourself, so how do those people that sell that software to you, how do they validate the outputs? How do they validate how that algorithm works so that there is less bias built into the programs the programming that goes into it? It's just a good question. And of course, understand this: AI, which is really used, marketers can use it for predicting, what customers will want to buy what products at what stage in their financial life cycle or their product life cycle. Sales executives can use it to determine, what particular types of pricing and other behaviors that they see might impact the sales cycle. For all the great opportunities there are for artificial intelligence to help us in terms of looking at outputs, remember this, they're just predictions. AI is not necessarily a finite or at the point where it's finite, where it can say, hey, this is absolutely going to happen. It's the outputs that AI produce are really based on the accuracy and the validity of the algorithms that they're built on, as we said before. And I kind of see them more as a way to be able to help make decisions, to really do what the work on a more sophisticated level that spreadsheets were able to do for many years, in terms of allowing us to change inputs and be able to look at those outputs and see, how that might change our decision making. So AI is just a more sophisticated way for us to get down the path of making maybe more informed decisions based on a larger universe of data than previously that spreadsheets could ever handle. Spreadsheets have a great limitation in terms of how much data they can manipulate. So we're beyond that point now. Spreadsheets are, even though they're still used for a lot of analytics work on a daily basis, for large big data analytics work, AI is the perfect opportunity. It's the next level up. So I kind of look at that as a way of AI as sort of the next level above spreadsheet manipulation. The other thing too is, you want to be able to, if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I've got this great software and it's modeled to do this and it's got AI in it," you really want to take a back step here for a moment, because there's a lot of companies out there that are working feverishly to figure out ways to get AI into their conversations so that their salespeople, when they hit the road, can say, "Hey, we've got something and it's built on AI." What does that mean? And what kind of AI are we really talking about here? And I think those are the discussions we're going to have in the subsequent videos in this series on AI and big data analytics. This is Dave Dirks. Again, if you want more information on marketing analytics, take a look at our book, The New Marketing Analytics. And again, I appreciate your time and look to see you again. Thank you.